Been a while. Your boy been busy. I don't even have no shades this time. I left them in the car. So 4th of July weekend coming up. But here's the topic. It's been hot on the streets of YouTube. I haven't been listening to many, but man, it's this panel discussion that's bringing up some good facts. This birthright citizenship. Think about it. I got more to say right after this. So remember, hit that like and subscribe button. Let's take this show off and let's go and see this video that's coming up right here. And we're going to start with that panel discussion. Let me look in the history. Fair use. Fair use. Ain't there something? I had a feeling. I had a feeling.
A long time.
All right, fair use. This is the one that I believe they was discussing probably today. Illegal migrants are illegal migrants taking advantage of birthright citizens for babies of slaves. See, what I don't, man, I'm talking about, ain't this something? This is something. Let's listen to this part. Fair use.
Whether this order is constitutional or unconstitutional, I am going to prohibit the administration from enforcing this order nationwide.
Okay, so the question is, we can talk about what she said and what Trump stated, but should birthright citizenship be abolished? Should it be? You got to go ahead, Kelly.
Think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely, it should be abolished. We don't have slavery anymore. It was for, the 14th Amendment was for the children or babies of slaves. We don't have that anymore. It 100% should be abolished, so we don't have any more anchor babies.
Does anybody disagree? So do you think that the people that got citizenship because of the birthright, should they go back? Should the kids go back? Or should they be able to stay?
Well, if they want to be apart, if they don't want to be apart from their families, like they're saying that we're doing, I mean, why not? Like, they're saying that Trump is ripping families apart. Stay with your family. I mean, it would make sense to me. So
I wouldn't be mad at it. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't be mad at it, but I could see how it could pose a problem because basically it would be them being born here gave them the citizenship. So it would kind of be like something like retroactive. I'm not saying it right, but personally, I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I can understand the ethical problem, I guess, because you could be 20 years old, you could be, 60 and then have to go home, but technically you were an American citizen because you were born here. You know what I'm saying? So.
I mean, I think it underscores a larger problem that's been a loophole for a long time. It's a couple different things that this speaks to. First of all, it also shows the hypocrisy of Democrats and that they basically giving this country over to people that's not even from here, from two people that are undocumented and they came here to finesse the system, and that they've basically given this country over to people that's not even from here, from two people that are undocumented and they came here to finesse the system. For a long time, Asian people have crossed over into the border pregnant, and they had babies on this soil under the guise that they were actually just visiting so that their children can have dual citizenship. You also have situations where a lot of people come over here.
See, don't y'all remember me mentioning that we're acting as if, like, when 60 Minutes 2020, one of them, Channel 7, I believe it was on Channel 7, they were showing that they were staying at these comfort inns, and as they still doing this, like flying in with a pregnant Chong Lean and two, like 8 months, something pregnant, and at this whole hotel, and they did that sting, that big bus. Baby be born here, get all the paperwork right up, and then they just fly back to China or Japan. And then years later, you're in college with someone that you think is from China. You've been living there, but yet they getting all type of proposals and grants and all this and working on the freeway and metro train. A lot of people know a whole lot of this has jumped off out here. And I'm not lying. Because I'm sure, I remember I was at business college. I know who I was going to school with. And they was telling me exactly who is their parents. Some of them had parents that worked on the 110 freeway. Somebody by the name of Sergio. And then it was another person. And I remember a lot of them being at this machining school. High in mathematics. Bad. Know how to do shortcuts and canceling out all kind of algebra and trigonometry problems. Taught me some tricks that I didn't even know that should have been taught to us right in the 80s in high school. So to make a long story short, look up and see how far and how buried some of those 20 or 60 minutes things of when, they would have a baby and go back to their country. Look up something like that. Do a show. Tag me that you're finna do a show, and I'll come over there and watch it. I would definitely come over there and watch it. Let's get back to this part of the show, and I'm going to speed it up.
Undocumented and hurry up and have babies so that they can then take advantage of our taxpayer dollars. You have people that was basically exploiting a loophole, and the only reason that they've left it open this long is so that they can continue to have people entitled and then endeared to the Democrat Party, which they'll then feel like they owed something, because you see a lot of people advocating for people that is not supposed to be here and they're over here illegally. And so in addition to that, you also had Trump, which is not being reported, which is not being talked about amongst Black people. It's not being talked about amongst Black people worldwide, because even if you set aside for 1 second the whole idea behind American descendants of slaves versus Black people that may be immigrants that came over from other countries, one of the things that he's doing is he's saying, go back to your own country, and also let me be an anchor of peace for your whole country, in which he brokered a peace deal between Rwanda and the Congo, right? So nobody talks about that shit. Nobody talks about the fact that you don't have mass genocide happening in traditionally Black countries where people are now able to go back to their countries, or they don't have to worry about getting killed when they go outside, or a war between two places like Rwanda and Congo. And so as he's being thanked, and he's being nominated, or they're saying that they want to nominate him for a Nobel Peace Prize because of the fact that he's advocating for peace across multiple different countries, including countries that nobody cares about. Everybody is sitting there, I've seen Black people.
See, now that's an interesting take, y'all. That's an interesting take. Nobody's not talking about that peace and that stuff that he's going over there doing about peace in the Congo and all this. And people are able to walk out there safe. They have their reporters, and their news is real stiff out there. Their news don't never really come over here that much. When you have people that's in our military tell us what they were showing us on the news is different from what they experienced. If you don't believe me, ask one of your military veterans. And they basically had to say they still had to follow some orders. So to kick back and get to the show, I'm not going to keep y'all here long, but those are like some of the things that I've been looking at. And then we got to look at the destruction of all of the small businesses that was in our community. Check out this. Democratic Party not only demolished the Black businesses in my community, but some of the white and Caucasian businesses that was around a long time was demolished. Some of the foundation Mexican businesses no longer exist, like upholstery shops and things like that didn't found tops right on me and the homies' cars back in the day. See, we don't see a lot of taperia. That's the way I pronounce it. Those places that used to do all these upholsteries. We don't see a lot of TV shops. The TV shops and electronic shops, we see computer places, but who's running them? See? So And that takes to the other part of it should be more talk about the tariffs and stuff. What are they doing? Boy, all I can say, I ain't even got much stocks. I just got nine shares. But one set of shares, I got 3. I've been just rolling. So at least I got some of my money back on this side, and I'm waiting for stuff to dip so I can load up. I finally getting the swing on it. So with that there said, let's go to the next video to see if there's some more stuff out there. And let's see what this side really has to say. So the superior. So we're going to check out this one. Fair use. See?
Your app is fast
And I knew
until
it
it isn't, and no one knows why. Embrace connects the dots. Fast.
A foggy look at the Golden Gate Bridge. Gosh, you can hardly see the bridge. Not too uncommon for the bridge to be obscured by the fog. Low visibility there in the Bay Area. And a live Steinbach standing by. He's with the University.
So we're going to listen to what the Supreme Court gives Trump a win on birthright citizenship, live from Fox.
University of Arkansas. At all understood at Little Rock. It's good to see you. What's going to be some of the most commonly misunderstood factoids about what's happened today during this ruling?
Great question, Austin. It's great to be.
Now, the thing of it, family, I haven't even seen this. So we're just going to will and deal. And hey, let's check out what these fact findings are having. Because this was put up 3 days ago. And let's check it out.
With you that this at all addresses the underlying legal issue of birthright citizenship. That this at all
this ruling factoids about at Little Rock. It's good to see you. What's going to be some of the most commonly misunderstood factoids about what's happened today during this ruling?
Great question, Austin. It's great to be with you. That this at all addresses the underlying legal issue of birthright citizenship. We haven't gotten there yet. The Supreme Court has yet to address that question. The only thing the Supreme Court ruled on was this notion of nationwide injunctions. In other words, you go to some trial judge out, let's say here where I live in Little Rock, and the judge says the federal government can't do such and such, and that applies to the whole country. The Supreme Court said, that doesn't make any sense. If you want to have something, a ruling by a court that affects the whole country, you've got to bring a class action. And we have those, right? That's not a new concept. And you have to follow all the rules for class actions. And then if the court rules in that way, it can go up on appeal, and an appellate court can evaluate whether that determination of class certification, as it's called, is valid. So all this decision does is somewhat limit trial judges in applying the law nationwide. But they have a way to do it. It just takes a little bit more work to get there. And I will caution, I'm very happy with this ruling because I think it's a sound judgment, but it's not a panacea. It will not mean that trial judges can't issue injunctions that affect the country. It just means it will take a little bit more work for them to do it.
Let's get some reaction from lawmakers, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. He said the Supreme Court has recklessly limited the ability of federal district courts to issue nationwide injunctions. However,
and it's like I said, look at what he said. They are never went in the paint for none of us. They went in the paint for that Black Lives Matter thing, and we saw how far that got us. So think about it. Look. And then where did that name come from? Is he really foundation? Is he really foundation Black America? Or should we be side-eyed? Think about it. Okay.
The judicial fight to protect birthright citizenship is alive and well. Every child born in the United States is an American citizen. We will not rest until that constitutional right is completely and unequivocally protected, the Democrat says. Also, liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor calling the ruling a travesty, Professor. She said that it's a travesty for the rule of law. In her written dissent, joined by the court's two other liberal justices, Sotomayor criticized the court's majority for ignoring whether Trump's executive order is constitutional. There might be some folks at home wondering what birthright citizenship means. Let's lay this out in plain English, Robert. What is it?
It is the question as to whether someone who's born in America, irrespective of how their parent or indeed their mother, his or her mother, got here, is automatically a citizen. So if we have an illegal alien who crosses the border and comes here against the law and has a child, the notion of birthright citizenship is understood to mean that child nonetheless is a citizen.
So, and what Trump and them is proposing, we was already brought here, and as brought here, and some of us was already enslaved here. That was already here, was given citizenship. So and maybe it meant for like maybe the Haitians and some of our Cuban and them brethren to be foundation. Black American, because we probably then married some of the, in other words, we didn't get married some of the ones that was probably from the Cuban islands and this, that, and the other, or Jamaica, or but they're saying that the evolution of this has been very much never in our favor, nor
Trump has issued an executive order saying, no, we're not going to follow
that's
that.
what Trump's saying. This is not in favor of being American. And some people don't want to get it.
We're not going to abide by that. And the Supreme Court has never squarely addressed this question, even though many people have suggested otherwise. Now, the Supreme Court has ruled on a related question, and most people have interpreted that related question as meaning that the Supreme Court has ruled on birthright citizenship, but they have not squarely ruled on birthright citizenship. And I can't predict how they will rule, meaning they may very well rule.
Feel free to go over there and check out this show. And with that, I'd like to say, that's pretty much enough of what I wanted to say. And check out that earlier clip I had up earlier. Till then, figure out what thumbnail to bring, and that's my little light note on birthright citizenship and how the connection of bringing industrial jobs back here are either lifted the industrial jobs and some other things I need to speak about in another show about how our infrastructure can be strong in our American communities. Until then, take care. Peace, baby. Woo. Oh, and I wanted to also say that the Social Security one, man, I got to do some more homework. It's a lot of reading to try to do a real perfect show.